Income inequality refers to the unequal distribution of income among individuals or households within a society or economy. It occurs when some people earn significantly more than others, resulting in a widening gap between the rich and poor. Income inequality can have social, economic and political consequences such as increased poverty, decreased social mobility and reduced economic growth.
In 2020, the top 1% of the global population owned more than twice the wealth of the bottom 50%, according to a report by Oxfam. In the US, the top 1% of earners received 20.3% of all income in 2018, according to data from the Federal Reserve. What's alarming is that this figure is increasing. According to a report by the Institute for Policy Studies, the top 400 wealthiest Americans saw their net worth increase by $3 trillion in 2020, while the bottom 50% of Americans saw little to no increase in wealth. A report by the World Economic Forum found that income inequality has increased in 75% of countries since 1980. A report by the National Bureau of Economic Research shows that income inequality leads to lower levels of social mobility and reduced opportunities for upward mobility. A study published in the journal Social Science and Medicine shows that income inequality is linked to negative health outcomes such as higher rates of obesity, diabetes and heart disease. Income inequality is linked to race as well. The wealth gap between white households and black households in the United States is approximately $171,000 higher for white households than for black, according to a report by the National Association of Realtors. Income inequality causes several problems such as poverty and social exclusion, health disparities, educational disadvantages, political instability, economic instability, limited social mobility, and mental health issues. High levels of income inequality result in a concentration of wealth among a few, leaving many people living in poverty and being excluded from essential opportunities and resources. This inequality also leads to poorer health outcomes, lower academic achievement, political unrest, reduced economic growth, limited social mobility, and increased rates of mental health issues due to factors such as financial insecurity and social exclusion. This can have devastating long-term effects on entire communities, which can transcend generations. Research has also shown that income inequality is associated with poorer health outcomes, including higher rates of chronic diseases, mental health problems, and premature death. This is due to factors such as poorer access to healthcare, unhealthy living conditions, and stress related to financial insecurity. Children from low-income families often face educational disadvantages due to factors such as inadequate resources, poorer quality schools, and limited access to extracurricular activities. This can result in lower academic achievement and reduced opportunities for success. High levels of income inequality have been linked to increased rates of mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and stress-related disorders. This is due to factors such as financial insecurity, social exclusion, and the stress associated with living in a society with high levels of income inequality. These combined stresses can lead to political instability and social unrest, as people become disillusioned with the political system and feel that their voices are not being heard. This can result in protests, civil unrest, and even violent conflict. Income inequality can also have negative economic consequences, as it can lead to reduced consumer demand, increased income inequality within firms, and reduced economic growth. This is because high levels of income inequality can result in a lack of purchasing power among low-income households, which can limit economic activity and hinder economic growth. Income inequality can also limit social mobility, as it becomes more difficult for individuals from low-income backgrounds to move up the social ladder. This is due to factors such as limited access to education, job opportunities, and other resources that are essential for upward mobility. Solving income inequality is a complex and multifaceted issue that requires a comprehensive approach from governments, businesses and individuals. There is no single solution, but a range of policies that can be implemented to minimise the wealth gap and reduce the associated effects of income inequality. Such policies include implementing progressive taxation, enacting minimum wage laws, investing in education and training, promoting collective bargaining, redistributing wealth through policies such as social welfare programs and healthcare initiatives, encouraging entrepreneurship, promoting corporate responsibility, supporting policies that promote social mobility, addressing systemic barriers, and encouraging civic engagement through activities like voting, volunteering, and advocacy for social justice. These policies can be enacted by governments, the private sector, and individuals. First of all, governments can implement progressive taxation systems that will tax the wealthy at higher rates than the poor, which can help redistribute wealth and reduce income inequality. This, in combination with minimum wage laws that ensure that workers are paid a living wage, can help lift people out of poverty and reduce income inequality. Secondly, governments can invest in education and training programs to provide people with the skills and resources they need to secure well-paying jobs, which can help reduce income inequality over time. Governments can also promote entrepreneurship by providing small business loans, tax breaks, and other resources to help people start their own businesses and create wealth for themselves and their communities. In order to ensure workers' rights are taken care of, the government can promote collective bargaining rights for workers. This can help them negotiate better wages and working conditions, reducing income inequality. Because most wealth is inherited rather than earned, governments can implement policies that redistribute wealth from the wealthy to the poor, such as social welfare programs, housing subsidies, and healthcare initiatives. This encourages a fairer system whereby people's basic needs are taken care of, whilst ensuring that generational wealth is properly distributed instead of remaining concentrated in the hands of a few fortunate families. The private sector can contribute to the reduction of income inequality by paying fair wages, providing opportunities for upward mobility, and investing in their communities. They can also promote social mobility by investing in education, networking with others in their communities, and supporting policies that promote social mobility. In order to reduce income inequality, along with gender and racial inequality, governments, businesses, and individuals need to work together to address systemic barriers that prevent people from accessing opportunities and resources. There are numerous race and gender disparities in employment and education that need to be broken down in order to promote equality. In order to enact these policies, it is essential that individuals engage in civic activities such as voting, volunteering, and advocate for policies that promote social justice and reduce income inequality. In conclusion, income inequality is a deeply complex issue that requires a comprehensive approach from governments, businesses, and individuals. The data shows that income inequality has increased in the majority of countries in the last 50 years, with the top 1% of the global population owning more than twice the wealth of the bottom 50%. This inequality has social, economic, and political consequences, such as increased poverty, decreased social mobility, and reduced economic growth. To minimise the wealth gap and reduce the associated effects of income inequality, policies such as progressive taxation, minimum wage laws, investment in education and training, promotion of collective bargaining, redistribution of wealth, social welfare programs, healthcare initiatives, entrepreneurship, corporate responsibility, social mobility, addressing systemic barriers, and civic engagement should be implemented by governments, businesses, and individuals. By working together to address income inequality and its associated effects, we can promote a fairer and more equitable society for all and a better world for future generations to come.